everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amwafwa. If it's your first time here. If it's not, thank you so much for returning. In this video we're talking about something a little bit more serious. I got COVID at the beginning of the year. I wanted to share my experience, what it was like. My symptoms were very different from what you typically see described online, and so I wanted to give you a first-hand experience of what that was like, what other symptoms you should be looking out for, what I did to isolate myself, and so on. I also got a few questions from you over on Instagram, so I'll be answering that a little bit later on in the video as well. I will not be mentioning any of the drugs that I got in this video because with COVID, I feel like the medication for it is a little bit contested, and so I don't want to say something and have people, self-medicating. Please go to a doctor. I am not a doctor. So I'm just going to give you a sense of what was happening up until my testing positive, what pushed me to go do the test. If you follow me anywhere on the internet, you know that I've been very vocal about staying at home, minding my business, wearing my mask, using my sanitizer. So it was actually like a running joke with my family that I was the last person anyone would have expected to get COVID, myself included. I'm quite shocked when the result came back positive actually. My mother was like, when I said it, it was like I was laughing. But I really was because I didn't see it coming. Basically what had happened was I had been working a lot throughout the holiday period. So work sort of came to a halt January 15th. And by January 17th, I was feeling really tired. But I assumed it was just burnout. And also I had started working out again by second week of January. So I was here thinking I'm sore from working out and I'm just burned out from work stress. Beginning of December, I had got acrylics. They were disgusting because they had been on my nails for I don't even want to say how long. So I wanted to go get them dissolved. So Thursday evening, which is the 21st of January, I go to the nail shop. And then as I'm sitting there, I just realized I'm feeling more and more tired, like a little bit dizzy. And so I was in a hurry for the thing to just be done and over with. When I go to do my nails, I'm very good about social distancing and masking and everything. Doing the nails, there's just a wave of dizziness that hits me, and immediately I start getting cold sweats. So I'm sitting in the chair, I can't sit up straight, I'm sweating. Let me just go to the bathroom, splash some water on my face or something. I could barely walk to the bathroom. I come back, I can't sit properly in the chair. I felt like I was going to faint. I was so dizzy, and then I had chills and sweats all of a sudden. I could barely even talk. Call my mother and I'm like, I feel really weird, I'm at the nail shop, and she's like, go to the hospital, I'll meet you there. So by the time I get to the hospital, I'm sort of back to feeling, just tired and that kind of thing again. I no longer have the dizziness. So I go to the doctor and I explain what happened at the nail shop and how I've been feeling that week. And he says we should do some blood work. I'm like, cool. So we do a blood test, it comes back, and he's like, my white blood cell count is high, which means that I probably have some type of an infection. Then he's like, so you should test for COVID. COVID tests are expensive. And I have no reason at the time to think that I've been exposed to COVID, right? Because nobody at my job had it, and I was being really careful. I was literally only going to work and back home, only using Ubers. So when he's like, I should do a COVID test, I'm like, ugh, but also I should do it just to know that that's not what it is. So when I get home, I'm sort of shattered again. So I'm feeling really weak, really tired. Side effects that I had the most of was confusion and irritability. It was if people were talking to me and they weren't talking very slowly, or if more than one person was talking at a time, I genuinely didn't understand what they were saying. I was very disoriented all the time. I can't keep up. My brain felt very foggy and very slow. We call Lancet instead and make an appointment for Saturday. That Friday, I start to feel body pain. So the type of body ache you get when you get malaria? That's how I was starting to feel. So Monday morning comes, I get a call from Lancet and they're like, your test came back positive. I was so thrown off. I was like, what do you mean? I suspect that's probably one of the people that I was interfacing with at work that I caught it from. Just there's no way that I have COVID. Lab guy was like, Miss Ma'am, you have COVID. So I get on the phone and I'm like shouting like, "Ma, I'm positive." And she's like, "Why do you sound excited?" And I'm just shocked because I really did not see this coming. So then we make plans for how I will isolate and everything. Luckily, like bedroom and bathroom are on the other side of the house. So it's actually very easy for me to be removed from everybody else because nobody has to pass through my area to get anywhere. And then I isolated in my room for 2 weeks. The other thing I got was like, it's like when you have malaria and you have muscle aches and behind your eyes hurts, so you can't really open your eyes. That happened to me as well. I had that, I had diarrhea, I had the tiredness and the muscle aches, and then I had the irritability and the confusion. Zero respiratory symptoms. When I realized that I was positive, my immediate reaction was my family. I've been sitting out with everybody like I don't have COVID because we didn't think I did. Mother went to do the test, and so when she was negative, we felt like everybody else would be fine. And nobody else had symptoms or anything like that. So we would just check in with each other, like they would come stand outside my window and be like, "Hey, are you okay?" every morning, that kind of thing. Just like leave food at my door. I would sanitize everything before I took it back out. And then I would also do the like menthol crystal inhalation because it just really helped to make your chest feel clearer. That was how it went for about a week. And then after a while, I started to feel a little bit like stronger, less tired, a little bit more mobile again. 2 weeks later, that Friday, I went and I did another test. I went to Clarion Health Center this time. It's a little bit cheaper and you get your results the same day. Thankfully, I was negative. But yeah, that was my experience with COVID. I'm answering some of the questions now. In no particular order, I'll just answer them as I see them. First one, did you eventually figure out the medium through which you may have contracted it? No. I still have no idea how I got it. Again, nobody at my job got COVID. And so yeah, another thing is try to be responsible about letting everybody that you've come into contact with know. So when I found out that I was positive, I called my job, I called a friend that had come to see me at the hospital, I called the nail shop to let them know. And then they actually called me back a couple of days later to tell me that they had tested the people who were there at the time and they were all negative. So that was really great. Yeah, make sure that you tell everybody you come in contact with once you know that you've tested positive, just so that they can go test as well. Please don't be positive and be gallivanting and not telling people. Like, that's actually crazy. No. And you mentioned your symptoms were different. What were they? What I meant was I didn't have any of the respiratory symptoms. So I didn't have a cough. I didn't have shortness of breath. I didn't lose my sense of taste or smell. What I had was weakness, dizziness, diarrhea, brain fog, mainly. How long did it take for your recovery? I started feeling sick. That was about January 18th till about January 31st. By like 31st January, I felt like I was fine. How do we fight COVID? Girl, I don't know. The CDC don't know than me. What did you do in terms of treatment? So I've mentioned this, that I will not mention the medication that I was given because I don't want people to go off and go self-medicate. The way that people have been swallowing Coartem left, right, center, I'm big. How did you manage your symptoms? Again, rest. I'm very privileged to have been able to do that, right? So because I was able to just like sit in my room for 2 weeks and just lie down. But if you are able to do that, rest will do magnificent things for your body. At what point did you decide to go and test? So when I got dizzy at the nail shop, I went to the hospital. I didn't think it was corona, so I don't think I would have tested for corona if it wasn't the doctor. But from my blood work, it looked like I had an infection, and so then the doctor said I should test for COVID. Did I experience any lasting effects? I'm a little bit weaker than I was before, if that makes sense. My capacity for physical activity feels slightly lower than it was prior to my getting COVID. But other than that, I feel basically fine. Not good. The symptoms I first experienced, my very first symptoms were just exhaustion. It felt like burnout and then brain fog. Did I take any antibiotics? Were they prescribed? So when I got the positive test, I called the hospital to talk to the doctor and tell him I tested positive because I wasn't going to physically go to the hospital knowing that I had corona. So I called and talked to the doctor, and then he gave me a prescription. Then my friend's mom, who had also dealt with a COVID patient, also gave me some drugs that she knew that people were using to treat corona at her hospital. So that was what I took. Again, will not mention names, go to a doctor. With maintaining your mental health in isolation, that was really rough actually. I think that was really difficult about it that I didn't anticipate. Was just like waking up every day in the same box. Which again, absolutely privileged to have been able to do that. But it did become exhausting after a while. I just tried to distract myself by like watching something. I was also sleeping a lot, so the days were really just passing by me. Am I breathing bad? No. So when you have COVID, if you can, you should get the oximeter so that you can check your oxygen saturation levels. Mine typically stayed in the range of 97 to 99, which is good. So those are all the questions that I got from Instagram, and thank you guys so much for watching this. I know it's going to be a long video, but I hope that it's useful. If you have any symptoms, either the ones that we've been told about a lot or the ones that I described, just go to a doctor, just get tested just to be sure. COVID in Ghana has gotten a little bit out of hand, understatement of the century. Yeah, just do what you can to protect yourself and people around you. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!